Alright, welcome back to album reviews. I don't actually have a full name for this series, but I guess it's just album reviews. Anyway, the album we're reviewing today is, as you can judge by probably the title and thumbnail, American Football, or LP1 from, American Football. As such, I'm going to be doing this in a very comically over-exaggerated American accent. First thoughts. Funny House album. I've already heard Never Meant and the one with the Wurlitzer, and I thought they were pretty boring. Predicted review score is 50 to 60. I'm very sorry for not getting this one out on time. If you're watching this at a later date, we had intermittent power outages for days, and this caused review a day's delay. I'll be working to get the others out on time, though. There's no margin for error. As always, scoring is on a 10-point scale, where the lowest is F-, 10 points out of 100 possible, and the highest is A+, 100 points out of 100 possible. Let's score with the maximum of its track total times 100, in this case, 900 points because there are 9 tracks. The scale is as follows: A+, A, A-, B+, B, B-, C, D, F, and F-. Anyway, on with the review. Track 1, Never Meant. The track begins with a false start consisting of jam noises before a count-in leads us to a clear and collected instrumental opening, not unlike that of Eric Church. The bass is full and clear, the guitar work is focused, and the drums are sharp and audible. The vocals are slightly distant, making you really focused to have to hear them, and my thoughts on that are mixed. There's extended sections of instrumental with distant, panning vocals. I can't make out the lyrics too well, not that they matter from a linguistic meaning standpoint. I care about how much they play into the abstract experience rather than inherent meaning. You can have dramatic lyrics and an unfitting backing and it won't work, same with vice versa. This is a very chill opener, it knows exactly what it's trying to be and doesn't go any further than that. YouTube audio compression handles this one very well. I could see myself dropping the needle on this and sitting in bed to enjoy it. I am satisfactorily soothed. I'll give it points for being as envisioned, though it's not exactly thrilling, and that's okay. This is an enjoyment scale anyhow. A-. Track 2, The Summer Ends. I feel A- was a good baseline for the last track as a fitting opener. This feels like much of the same with a trumpet that I'm not sure if is perfectly placed or hilariously out of left field. Much like Never Meant, the opening instrumental section is heavily extended. The vocal work here is extremely quiet and all the instruments seem to fade into the distance the second the first words are spoken. All I can hear is a faint bass, quiet guitar, and drums that kind of sound like hitting a water bottle. Everything returns to play a few moments afterwards. This is cognitively stimulating. It's not scintillating or loud or exciting, but it's definitely easy to think to. My thoughts on this album are very clear. There's a rolling snare that rises and cuts, only to start again, which I find a little amusing for its sheer duration. I feel like Rivers Cuomo could make this. I'm fine. B+. Track 3, Honestly. I'm not sure how to review stuff like this in all factuality. This feels the most like an actual composition that doesn't sound like, for lack of a better term, Kmart music. I don't know how to rate my perceived enjoyment. I'm simply stimulated. Not bored, nor thrilled, nor energetic. I am simply stimulated. I can't not think about sitting outside listening to this album. As for the song itself, I have little to say. I feel like more these are my thoughts than a review for this song in particular. I'll praise the simplicity across the whole album. It feels like a small in-house production that you feel proud of discovering. It feels like I found this in a charity shop and the only YouTube upload of it is from 14 years ago and has 39 views. Energy. Once again, there's a lengthy period of no lyrical content midway through. I really just don't have much to say. This feels like life music. You hear this in the background while you're busy existing. So in all honesty, I have no thoughts. My head is empty. I think I'll give it a B+ for sheer length, clocking in at I think 6 full minutes. I praised a lot of longer tracks for quality throughout. It takes a lot more effort to do that than to do it for 3 minutes. I chose real talent and that's worth talking about, so it's a B+ track. Track 4, For Sure. This opens like elevator music. I feel I'm on hold. I'm not the kind of person for this music to review it in depth. I'm not doing this album justice, that's fact, plain and simple. I want to fall asleep to this. It's clear to me, at least, the intentions of the artist were not to make an album to be nitpicked as it flies past you in intricate detail. It was to make something to express. This is simply how they felt. B. Track 5. You Know I Should Be Leaving Soon. This starts what I'm going to call the song titles of these 4 tracks kind of feel like they connect saga. This has the most eventful opening of any track yet, though it feels a bit disjointed and noisy to me. It stops for a moment and then resumes, having collected itself. I like how long the tracks are, and precisely when they mean to and not a moment sooner. Through the album, I have not felt for a moment like any one track has gone on for more time than it deserves. If anything, For Sure was so short that I could hardly write anything for it. I think this one is instrumental and that too is okay to the point. There's a central idea I can't get at, but it's there and I want to see what it is. There's a false ending and then it resumes as it fades out, so it's good engineering. It's an A-. Track 6, But the Regrets Are Killing Me. Now this is a song. This sounds almost like you put "This is such a pity" and "Undone the Sweater" song, both by Weezer in a blender. It feels and sounds something like they'd make, and I really like that. By lowering my expectations for earlier tracks, they have managed to make a track I'd normally give an okay to when any other album sound eventful and symphonic by comparison, and unlike on that Kanye album I said that about, this is done well with entertaining and calm music for its first portion of this particular track, feeling like either further build-up as we near a possible peak or a climax with masterfully crafted first two-thirds of an album with hopefully more to come. My grading skill was not built for music like this, but I know it's good. I just don't know how to rank it and give it justice at the same time. Best track on the album, that's for sure, A+. Track 7. I'll See You When We're Both Not So Emotional. The third track in the saga breaks the previous record for eventful opening. The vocals sound like they're being shouted from the next room here, and that's a mildly jarring quality. They sound like they were recorded for an iPod mic, while everything else was done with studio professional mics. Then again, I record this series on an iPod microphone. The YouTube upload I'm watching of this has a squirrel on the roof during this track, so that's very amusing to me, so points for squirrel. It's well crafted, not much to say. I don't think I've ever encountered an album that's completely challenged how I view and review music. This is music to be reviewed track by track. This deserves a comprehensive breakdown, which I cannot provide for brevity's sake. B+. Track 8, Stay Home. The final track and the song titles of these 4 tracks kind of feel like they connect. Saga has the simplest opening of the 4, feeling like, yes, you guessed it, another track on this album by American Football. I'm going to spend most of this adjusting grades. I feel I went on a little too high on this and could skew scores a bit from just having very little to say. This one is the longest track on the album, clocking in at 8 minutes. It opens with 3 full minutes of instrumental, reminding me somewhat of the long intro to Only in Dreams by Weezer. I've made a lot of Weezer comparisons here because they're my favorite band at the moment, and I think the lead vocalist kind of sounds like Rivers Cuomo. I'm a sucker for tracks that keep cohesion through massive runtimes. There's not really a point to having lyrics on this track. I'd much rather have an 8-minute instrumental than a phrase, but that's life, it's so social, repeated with very little variation. That gets annoying really fast, and I'm not a fan of repetition like that by any means. I just want this one to be over. It sucks, but it had a lot of potential, and that makes it worse. C for coherence. Track 9, the one with the Wurlitzer. And it's over. The intro to this one fades, and immediately after Stay Home ends, being almost a medley of sorts with no true silence. I'm just happy this album's gotten into it at all, though at the same time I wish it could continue. It reminds me of something or other, the entire album does. The unfitting trumpet is back again, and it ends as quickly and yet as prolonged as it began. It's just okay, and a mediocre conclusion I don't like. It's a C. Final thoughts? I hate it, yet I want more. I don't know why, but this feels like I'd leave it on in the background. It's Seberg music played live, and it's very novel to me. I have not much else to say on American Football, so it's grading time. You all see the grades right here, so 540 out of 500, or 60%, gives this album a B. I guess that's pretty fitting. A middle-of-the-road grade for a middle-of-the-road album. If the last 2 songs weren't as bad as they were, I think it'd get a lot better. It's just not for me, but it might be for you. I'll see you all.